Was that you suffocating Jim? Oh, Jesus!
I'm picturing like a bird cage right now.
No, I grabbed my fucking neck. Seriously? Yeah. Oh, oh!
Something just grabbed my backpack. Yeah. You just moved that ball?
Is there anything inhuman down here?
I hear growling.
Yeah.
And we are live. Normally, this would be the after show presented by the Get Haunted Paranormal Podcast program. This is still the after show, but there is no show we are after. Normally, this is a show that is paired with a YouTube release. Due to personal life and some things, we didn't come out with a video in the last 2 weeks. But we wanted to do this show. We wanted to keep our, spot going. We wanted to talk with you guys, come and hang out. So we thought it'd be fun if we did an after show, but after the JFK file release. Couple of interesting things in there. Nothing groundbreaking, but we're going to talk about some stuff, whether it's more focused on the paranormal, not the political side of it. We all know the CIA killed him. That's just how
What
it
happened?
is. Yeah, that's not even up for debate. But
It's common knowledge.
coming out, and then we want to sit down, hang out with you guys. Maybe we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. We have some things we'll pull up. Get into some of the weirder theories around the JFK assassination, time travel, remote viewing, disclosure, all that jazz. I'm Sean, that's Jim, you're you, and
Let's do this, baby.
let's do this. So, Jim, JFK Files released 10 days ago, was it? The 17th or the 18th? Monday or Tuesday? After the executive order giving people 45 days to round up everything they could. This isn't the first time JFK Files have been released, but this is the most kind of extensive, and things that were released are being less redacted. So
It's massive though. Like,
yeah.
have you seen the download list? Like, it was like 2,300 pages. I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, so just like basic math, I'm on the site here, and I'll pull it up eventually when we start going through all this stuff. But it's like I have 200-page lists, and of the list, there's 12 pages. So like 200 times 12, yeah, like 23,000 or something.
Yeah.
And each one of those downloads is like 3 or 4 pages. It's not just like one single sheet. So,
Yeah.
all faxed. So, you can't just control find anything. You have to have like a good Word editor document to kind of search through everything.
Well,
So-
if you look at the end pages though, you can tell like they're old, but they're just like starting to disintegrate. You know what I mean?
Falling apart. And it's good that all this stuff is digitized, because ultimately it is a part of our history, and we want that to be online, and we want scholars to be able to look at this in years past and future and stuff like that. So, yeah. I think there's a lot of things to jump into. But before we kind of dive in, housekeeping. We'll talk about all the stuff that we got coming up. All the hunts we have coming up in the future, all the events we're doing, and stuff like that. We will be, and I think this is in the first exclusive announcement, we will be at the Eerie Mansion, April 26th. And so we'll be doing a video there with a lot of our, crew and whatnot, and we'll see what we can find. If that name sounds familiar, and if you've been following me for a while, we did a Haunted Upstate episode there a while ago, like 2017. So this will be the first time I've investigated the place, but this won't be the first time I've ever been there. And that place is massive. It's crazy. The owner, Mark, is amazing. Kind of self-proclaimed king of Halloween. He's the kind of guy that says, wait here, and then comes down with an African blow dart and just starts shooting darts at a pillow. Or he always has some cool trick he wants to show you. So it's gonna be a fun video. We'll see what we can catch, and I know we're gonna have a blast with it. So
Oh, I can't wait.
we have our CE5 event. We got a couple of the Get Haunted people we know coming out with us. We're going to go out in the woods somewhere and try to summon some UFOs. We haven't done the CE5 before, so some people are going to teach us how, and we're going to document all that experience, and that's going to be a video, so keep looking for that one. And we got, let's see.
We got Mid-Orange.
We got Mid-Orange.
We got Mid-Orange coming up. April 12th.
April 12th, yeah. And you might be in Farnsworth doing some stuff with Get Haunted and whatnot.
On the 4th and the 5th.
4th and the 5th. So yeah, we got a big month. So we kind of like took this month kind of lackadaisically, but next month we're gonna be hitting the wall. So you'll see some videos. We'll still get rewinds and stuff in on there. But come the summer, we're going to be pretty much launching like videos like every single day. It's going to feel like that. We might do some changes to how the videos are released. We might just kind of do shorter segments to keep people engaged. But we'll see. So, Jim. So, did aliens murder JFK?
Yes, and they replaced the presidency with reptilians.
Wow. No. So, I mean, we joke. There's a lot of theories out there on what happened and what's going on. We got some stuff pulled up. But
yeah, like one of the biggest theories was, that I've heard was they assassinated him because he was very close to pushing out disclosure, which is kind of what's happening right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there was assassination attempt.
Yeah. So I know what you're talking about. There was let's see if I can get this on screen. So there was this letter, this supposedly declassified letter or leaked letter from JFK talking to NASA, and you can't. Oh, geez, the quality in this is not great. But maybe we can full screen it better. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let us know if you can actually read that. But pretty much it talks about JFK saying he wants to know about the unknowns. And I got my copy here. I had discussions with you previously. I have initiated, censored, and have instructed James Webb to develop a program with the Soviet Union in joint space and lunar exploration. It would be very helpful if you would have the high threat cases reviewed with the purpose of identification of bona fide opposed to classification CIA, USA of sources. It is important that we make a clear distinction between between the knowns and the unknowns in the event that Soviets try to mistake our intended cooperation as cover up for intelligence gathering or their defense and space program. When this data has been sorted out, I would like you to arrange a program of data sharing with NASA where unknowns, capital U, are a factor. This will help NASA mission directives in their defense responsibilities. I would like to enter a report on the data review no later than February 1st, 1963, right? Yeah, because that makes sense. So the biggest thing on this one is came out in like 2017 that this letter was supposedly leaked. As far as I've been able to tell, it's not in the current publicly released document, so its dubiousness is still on the table. But the idea here is that the unknowns, capital U, he's saying that you need to tell people we were working with those Soviets to identify if there's aliens, and that way if we make a motion towards defense against aliens, it's not seen as an aggressive gesture. So people are saying that he put this information out there like, hey, we want to declassify aliens so that way if there's ever any engagement in space, we don't nuke ourselves. And allegedly he was assassinated, however many days later after this letter? I think it was 10 days or something. So that's still on the edge of if it happened or not. I'm not 100% sold on this. The only place that this appeared in a book and then on like a Discovery TV show, just the same shows that we all watch, where it didn't have too much other sources surrounding it. So that's kind of the smoking gun for that argument that he was trying to disclose aliens. So what are your
let's be honest. He's like, I want to initiate contact with Censored, aka Lockheed Martin Skunk Works. Raytheon.
Yeah. So that one, I don't know. We'll have to definitely circle back to that in the future, see if it does come out. Maybe it's in these 20,000 pages, but I feel like if it was, then people would have pointed it out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Can you
for
hear
sure.
my dog barking, by the way? I think
Yeah.
there's a squirrel in the yard.
It's-
Can you hear him?
It adds to the
Okay,
to the podcast.
So that's why we do live shows.
Background sounds.
Exactly.
And he's gone.
No, I'm here. I'm just gonna keep myself muted when I'm not actively speaking because my dog. But yeah. So that's that theory. And I guess I want to kind of bring up another one that's been pretty much debunked, but we'll bring it up because we are talking about paranormal events associated with JFK generally. Allegedly, there was a time travel. Oh no, wrong one. A time traveler there. I've seen this float around. I think a lot of people did. I think this was like 2020 when there was a wave of JFK
Yeah, I remember
documents
that.
this was circulating around. I mean, everyone's kind of fact checked this. He's technically he doesn't look like he's in what's the word? Period appropriate attire. But there's nothing on him that actually excludes him from being in the 60s. There were people that had sunglasses like that. You could have a jacket and you could have a tee like that. That's not like you would probably.
What's that in his hand though? It looks like he's holding like a cell phone almost.
Nah, hold on. Let me blow it up more. I think it's like a camera, like a regular handheld camera.
Okay, I see.
But I don't think it's,
He definitely does look like somebody from like our generation.
Yeah, he does look like a hipster, but Dallas was just ahead of the time. Yeah, I got a bigger, and it's big and blocky. It's definitely not a cell phone, and it looks like it has weight to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another one I kind of wanted to just, it's out there. I wanted to talk about it. I know.
Now, how did they debunk it? They just said it was normal clothing.
Well,
That's what they want you to think. No,
Yeah.
just kidding.
So they just But there was. I remember looking into it when it first came out, and I didn't redo the research. But those glasses are a specific pair of glasses that were released, before this time period, and I think they matched up that T-shirt as well.
And doesn't that fall under the Project Pegasus, where they said they sent people back in time to watch the JFK assassination?
So, if you're talking about, are you talking about the remote viewing or
No,
actual
this
time
is
travel?
that's Project Stargate.
Yeah.
This is Project Pegasus, is where they say allegedly had somebody time travel to watch the assassination so they could see who did it, kind of thing. I was like, if you have that kind of power, why don't you just stop it?
Well, Alternate timelines.
Alternate. Welcome to Flashpoint.
Yeah. What's it? I know there's the Umbrella Man, which people try to make a big deal of. There's a guy with an umbrella on a sunny day in Dallas, and it's like, no, if you just dig into it, it's actually a politician who was like doing it as a political stunt to protest something.
Exactly, Mama Man. Multiverse.
Multiverse.
She's on Instagram.
Instagram. What up, Instagram people? Again,
And
if
Matt
you're just
flipping
tuning
knew
in,
it about the reptilians.
yeah. And if you're just tuning in, we're kind of diving in. We got some JFK stuff pulled up because the files got released, like last week or 10 days ago. So we're just we have some things that people have been talking about JFK. We're going to focus more on the political this is now a political show. No, we're going to focus on the paranormal side. For me, the politics is less interesting because
We all know who
assholes
did
rule
it.
the world. And assholes are going to do asshole things like, assassinate people that are trying to make their lives harder. So, there is a lot of stuff in this, and this is the only thing I'll really get into. So, lone gunman theory, which is obviously the prevailing theory. Jim, I can't fucking talk. Jeez,
Lee Harvey Oswald.
That guy. That he was being trailed around by the FBI a lot, and this confirms a lot of that, and goes into a lot of that as well, where they were tracking him in Mexico City and things like that. And there's no reason
they said him, Mexico City, USSR, and
there's another place.
Cuba.
Yeah, Cuba.
In Cuba, they were trying, or not Cuba, but like the government, Cuba. The Cuban government, sorry.
Yeah.
He was meeting them there during that time because I think that was during the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? Or close to.
Well, yeah. And also during a big thing out of these documents is, we were just trying to kill Fidel Castro like several times. I think 2 times officially that we failed in these documents, which isn't anything new to anyone who's been, who's read up on that time period.
Mama Maurer says, did you read the docs yet?
We've gone through some of them.
We've gone through some. Yeah, we've gone through a couple in our time.
So here, I'll screen share here. That's what I'll do. And yeah, I have read some of them. Let's see. So this is what we're dealing with, right? So this is the National Archives where all these documents are being released or have been released, and so you can see the date and time things were released, how many pages were released. Can I zoom here? I'll zoom in this a bit better. So zoom. There we go. Yeah. So 32,000 pages, 31,000 pages, 53 pages, and then you scroll here, and nothing's organized properly. Like, you go to the first one here, you pull it up. Oh, and then of course it's my StreamYard is not going to switch tabs for me. Share this tab instead. And then you'll have clipping of article, The Kennedy Murder and Secret Service of the United States, USA. And you go down, dated March 26th, which was yesterday, but 61 years ago? No, 59 years ago? Math? No. 80. 80? Is that 80? Jeez.
No, that'd be 60. Yeah, 70.
Someone do basic math for us real quick, please. Attached article, which may be of interest to you, appeared in the issued Italian Communist Party Weekly. Renaciti, I don't know. The writer has been on and off U.S. Correspondent of the Italian. So interesting things like this. Like this guy was inside the Italian Communist Party. So, things like that. And then you come back here, you open the next one, and it's JFK Assassination System Identification Form, CIA, Record Series JFK Originator, CIA, discussion between members of senior division concerning Oswald's stay in Helsinki. So they were following him in Helsinki. So then you scroll down. Oh, sorry. Share tab. My bad. That's what I was saying here.
Mm-hmm.
And you scroll down, and it's got kind of all this stuff. handwritten. And then you get the actual text of the document. Discussion between member, senior division, and Helsinki concerning timetable of Oswald's stay in Helsinki. 9 o'clock this morning. I talked with Frank Freiberg recently. It's, time to stay. So it's saying that Oswald was in Finland in 1959. Yeah, he was in contact with the Soviets. So like a lot of this stuff confirms that like Lee Harvey Oswald was just talking with like every one of America's enemies in the years coming. So
I mean, some would say he was mind controlled, Sean.
So when you talk about mind control, that's an interesting thing to bring up. I don't even consider mind control paranormal, right? Like, I think like there are completely legitimately scientific ways to influence people how to do things. Hypnosis. I mean, everyone's seen a hypnotist live. Like that's not all fake. Like people are easily suggestible once you know what buttons to push.
Putting little seeds into your algorithm.
Yeah, well, that's how they do it nowadays, right?
Yeah. But what did they call it back then? They called it MK Ultra.
Yeah, well, MK Ultra was like with LSD specifically, yeah.
Yeah. Where they would use it was real. CIA would do real experiments with LSD, and they were basically mind control people. Just put them in like almost like a drug comatose.
Yeah.
Of it, and
that's the kind of point where we are in the kind of paranormal world, right? Where, yeah, the government was drug testing people in the 60s and 70s, and they were doing these remote viewing sessions. Like that's like historically documented things that a lot of people just kind of blow off and don't even want to consider into their realm space of what happens in the world, right? And that's, kind of the hill you have to get over as a, somebody in this field. Like,
well, you think some of the stuff we do is bad. You should have seen what the Nazis used to experiment with back in the day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're not going to start bringing up Nazi
Yeah.
But no, I'm just talking about like the stuff that our government has invested time and money into, like whether the results of those things were, conclusive or not. But clearly people in the government believe that it's worth the time spending millions of dollars to see if people can psychically project their consciousness in places. And that if you want to kind of go off on your tangent about remote viewing and Project Stargate, because I know there were people who claimed that they tried to remote view the JFK assassination after the fact.
Oh yeah. No, after like because Project Stargate didn't happen until like around the 70s. So they basically tried to see if they could remote view his assassination and kind of get leads on it. And some whistleblowers claim that they could see the assassination unfold, like in the remote viewing space, that whatever they call that, I don't know.
Yeah, some people call it the astral projection and things like that. But
my question is, what do you think they saw? Like, why didn't they make it public?
Yeah, I mean,
if they did see something, like
it's weird because, right? These are people who are saying they're seeing like not spaceships, but they're seeing like ancient structures on Mars and alien bases in like mountains in Washington, and like that's all documented for those remote viewing people, and that's what they're seeing. But when they go to the JFK assassination, they won't say what they saw. That's like throws up a lot of red flags, and not necessarily the good ones.
Yeah. I mean, there's a famous one who saw a pyramid on Mars.
Yeah,
Joe McMonagle.
McMonahan or no
McMonagle. Yeah. Well, we're gonna pull up a clip so you guys can kind of see and understand remote viewing a little bit. It's not per se pertain to JFK, but it's kind of so you guys can have a better understanding. And he is I guess he would be the number one expert in remote viewing, right? John?
Yeah, I mean, we've done some videos on remote viewing and kind of some shorts here and there, but yeah, this is the guy who kind of was the head of it all.
Yeah.
I was part of a non-identified flying object recovery team for 15 years, and spent a lot of time at a multitude of different crash sites, and it just the data that we were able to collect, let's say out of 12 different sites, 11 of them were our stuff. Okay, it was clear when you actually got there and looked at the evidence on the ground and looked at the damaged aircraft that something might have collided with and that sort of thing. We were able to find evidence that it was our government or our planes or our advanced weaponry, that sort of thing that the government just didn't want people knowing about. There was one case, however, that seemed to be real. And that's the one case that also seemed to have had a live entity on board.
Okay.
And, but everything, we found the logbook at I think it was the Los Angeles Times. We found the logbook where parts or pieces were logged in and locked in a safe there. We found notes from the person who went out to photograph it. And since the event occurred directly over what's called a dry mine, it's where they shovel dirt into buckets out in the desert and then take it home and wash it out. It was a dry mine, and so we figured it had to be registered, and it was. And we were able to, after about 10 days of searching, find the actual dry mine and see the evidence there. And you could still see where the heavy equipment had come in and moved the object, whatever the object was, and the full impact of how the object wedged into the side of a hill gave the impression that it was oblique and flat, more flat than not. And we even found the aircraft that it collided with, where it augured into the desert 5 miles away and burned. So, but that's the only one
Okay. Yeah.
that really left any evidence that it might have been real. But it was gone within 24 hours. I mean, they came in with heavy equipment, loaded it on flatbeds, and spirited it off somewhere. It's out in the desert in that big warehouse, with all the boxes and the Ark of the Covenant and all that.
He really did not go into the explanation I wanted him to.
Yeah, it's fine. There's some
What?
this recording. Someone's like laughing in the background. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's the person that he's interviewing with.
Yeah, I mean, that's maybe there's more context to it, but that's very disrespectful.
Well, I think the context to it, which I should have probably explained a little bit more. The context to it, like he was able to find the dry spot, like using remote viewing. I think this is more towards the ending.
Yeah,
That was my bad. I should have
not.
used the other one. Damn it.
That's fine. Yeah, no, and like I said, it's this time period in America, 1960s and 70s, is like probably one of the most interesting when it comes to investigating or kind of deep diving back into that stuff with, like Men in Black popping up, UFOs, and Roswell obviously was the 50s. But you get a lot of stuff that is disinformation from the government to like say, yeah, no, there's UFOs to hide YouTube bombers, right? And it's hard to kind of figure out which is which, right? Because in retrospect, yeah, that could have been exactly why they were fueling all these UFO stories. but there's going to be no way to prove that
Yeah.
unless there's like a document. But even then, people say that document's fake of like someone giving the order to, hey, we're going to start a disinformation campaign. But like that's not how you do things. There's not a paper trail for that.
Exactly.
So I don't know. We're gonna dip into some more. Well, I do have one interesting thing. This was from the 2017 release, so it's not new. But I wanted to bring it up since we are talking about all this stuff. So it doesn't have anything to do directly with the JFK files, but it was kind of lumped into all these files, where apparently there was an actual UFO sighting by a senator and lieutenant corporal while they were traveling in the USSR in 1955. So I'm going to bring that up. Let's see, where's that? Did I not? Oh, I guess I'm screen sharing it. That's what I'm doing. Once I go through all my documents of JFK stuff I've pulled up. Here we go. Share this tab instead. Add to stage. And so, again, obviously JFK assassinated in 1963. This is from 1955, so prior to. So I don't think this has anything to do with it, but it was released alongside a lot of these documents in 2017 for obviously Cold War reasons, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But so this is a reported sighting of an unusual. Well, let me zoom in this so everyone can read along. Reported sighting of an unusual aircraft in USSR. And then there's other things that are less important to what we're talking about, but still interesting stuff. I gotta zoom out because I can't read it because my screen's so big. The following is an excerpt from a cable received from the U.S. Air Force. 3 reliable U.S. observers, Senator Richard Russell, Lieutenant Colonel E.U. Hathaway, and Army Major Reuben Ephron visited Prague in October, arriving direct from Kyiv via Baku, Tbilisi, Dnipro, Petritsky, and Black Sea areas. I'm not too familiar with all the areas, but generally in the Black Sea, Eastern Bloc part of Europe. They reported the following U.S. ARA and U.S. ARMRA, which are not just communication between the Air Force and the Army. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm not. So en route, so
Hey,
they're
Sean.
going to. Sorry. Oh, hey, Chrissy. Or Chris, not Chrissy. Whatever you prefer. Are you guys coming
It's
back?
Christy.
Christy, yep. Are you guys coming back to Gettysburg in the next week or so? I believe Jim is.
Yeah, I'll probably be there. I'm gonna be with Get Haunted out there, and we are gonna go have some fun. Hopefully, I think it's on that Friday, April 4th.
Yep. Yeah. So,
I could never forget Christy. Come
have
on.
some beers at the Blue and Gray for me, will you? I
Damn
will not be
right.
there,
Maybe
unfortunately.
will Christy be doing tequila shots with me this time?
Yeah, tequila shots. But yeah, so we're just yeah, I know we talked about that we were going there with you, but I don't think we specifically had anything planned specific. Nope. See, you say nope now, and I got you because people are watching, but we understand.
At Gettysburg.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Maybe I'll have to come. But yeah, we're just talking JFK Files. This is something interesting. This was not released in the 2024 stuff, but the 2025 stuff, 2017 UFO sighting allegedly that somehow got lumped in all these documents. So on October 4th at 1910, and if my Navy
For sure.
Yeah. if my Navy time runs at 7 o'clock or 7:10 p.m.
Where does it say it?
1910.
Yeah, 19. That's 7:10.
They were traveling along the rail, departing from Ajanti in the Truscan region. So, this is a general map, but today we have the beautiful thing known as Google Maps. So I did bring this up. This is that same area. So, and we'll go back to this guy. So, 2 mounds as received, and circular, unconventional aircrafts resembling flying discs or flying saucers were seen taken off almost vertically, 1 minute apart. So, we're seeing one come up and then another come up. Disc aircrafts ascended near dusk with outer surface revolving to the right slowly rotating. Very classic UFO style.
Yeah.
And with 2 lights stationary on top in the middle part. I mean, that's how they drew it up, right? That's a UFO.
Yeah,
that's
a
ET
UFO
phone
right
home.
That's funny.
Sparks or flame seen coming from the aircraft. Now, this is interesting because most UFO reports specifically say there's no sign of combustion flight. They do talk about the fact that they can see sparks or flame coming out. So that's a interesting point of note on this UFO.
Maybe it was like a U.S. Converted, or not even U.S. It could be any country, where they tried to reverse engineer and they couldn't get the combustion down or the source of flight down on it.
You're watching the MD game while listening to you guys. No worries. We're always here hanging out in the background. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so, and light stationary on top, sparks are seen. No protrusion seen on the aircraft, which passes over the observer's train. So they're flying on the train. We'll go back to here, and you can actually see the train here. So they said they're about 10 minutes from this spot over here. So I'm not a train expert, but I believe that puts them somewhere in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And the UFOs, let's see, gives me directions in here eventually. Oh, no, wrong one. There we go. Both flying discs are disc aircraft ascend relatively slowly to about 6,000. I'm assuming feet. Our altitude, right? How dare they not put units on their numbers?
Yeah, I know, right?
My 6th grade science teacher would be furious. Then speed increased sharply in a horizontal flight, both on the northerly heading. So they took off flying north. So let's go back. So obviously north is up. This is the train. So I'm assuming somewhere in this southern area they flew up. I mean, maybe this mountain, maybe they came from these rivers and then passed over them north.
Yeah.
So this way. So towards essentially this mountain range. What's over here?
Absolutely nothing.
This looks like a solar farm, but who knows what it was back then.
Probably still a base.
This is crazy. Is this all? That's a massive solar farm. Maybe it's covering something up, Jim.
Mm.
Well, this is where they're coming from over here, I believe. And they weren't, yeah. So let's see what continues. So in a northerly heading, flying altitude of disc remained same during the ascent as in cruise. Like a discus in flight, 2 operating searchlights pointing almost vertical Vertical seen near takeoff area located about 1 to 2 miles south of the rail line. Okay, so now we have a distance, and we can do distances. So, come back.
You don't
to
have it
Google
up, but
Maps.
you don't have it yet.
Yeah. Now I need I can measure distance, right, on Google Maps. So just estimate. Measure distance. What's that distance? So that's about 1 mile. So we're looking at somewhere in this facility, and obviously you got to give these people room for error.
But you said they flew north?
They flew north. They came from this way.
Oh, so 2 miles south. Okay.
Yeah. So, like 10
So they
minutes
came
out,
from-
how fast does a train go?
It sounds like a hard math question.
Right?
If a train was traveling 50 miles an hour and a UFO came out of the south 2 miles away.
You just say that. I'm literally looking at the average speed of a train.
At what point would they
80
meet?
to 100 miles per hour, right? So, actually, let's see. Let's go to... So, what would be... Divide that by 60. Because we're trying to go for miles traveled in 10 minutes. So, obviously, we divide by 6 miles, right? So, it's about 6 miles, 10 minutes, going about 100, right?
So
that
miles
sounds like
per
math.
hour, yeah. So because a mile per hour,
What are we looking at?
There's six 10 intervals in an hour.
So you're looking at two people who don't have a college education do math. That's what you're looking at. What's actually happening? This is a UFO report from 1955 that was declassified in 2017, and they got lumped in with a lot of the JFK stuff. So we're generally talking about JFK and paranormal surroundings around that, but we're doing a tangent on this. This has nothing to do with JFK, except for the documents were also with that stuff. But we have dates, we have times, we have speeds, so we're diving into it. That's what we're doing. So yeah, my guesstimate was about right. If the train's going 80 to 100 miles per hour, say 100 for easy math, so you're going 100 miles per hour, that means you're going 10 miles per... No, that'd be 60, right? If you're going 60 miles per hour, you would travel 6 miles every 10 minutes.
No, that would be
vice
every
versa.
hour.
Every
Or
hour.
60 miles per hour, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's wondering where. Like, where is it?
This is the Caspian Sea. This is Azerbaijan. So back in the 50s, this was part of the USSR. So let's see how good AI is. If a train travels 100 miles per hour, how far does it get in 10 minutes? Boom. I don't have to do math.
What's the answer?
It is not Gettysburg, no, unfortunately. We should really just do a deep dive on everything that happens paranormal in Gettysburg one day. 16 miles in 10 minutes is the max we're thinking here. So, let's go back to you're still on my map. But, so, anywhere from this area here. So this entire strip. Depending on how fast they were going, I'm assuming they weren't traveling faster than 100 miles. So, and then they had a 2 miles out from the rail line. So, actually, the rail line is technically down here. So we're looking like in this area somewhere. Again, my vote's the mountain here. which would make sense. And they said it passed over their car, so over their train car. So comes up, ascends, and goes northward. I don't know how well you can see my mouse. But
She's asking if it's Europe. It's that's like what? Isn't that near like the Middle East?
technically, you would call this, yeah, this is the Middle East. So Georgia, Turkey, Azerbaijan, this is the Middle East. Turkmenistan. So, I mean, it's, this was USSR, this was essentially Russia, but the
Back when they
Middle
owned
Eastern
everything.
part, yeah. So, yeah, that's interesting. Let's see what else this report says. 1 to 2 miles south of Iran. After sighting, the Soviet train men became excited and lowered curtains and refused permission to look out the window. U.S. observers firmly believe these unconventional aircrafts are flying saucers or disc aircraft. And then it goes on to a different thing. Switch profiles. Welcome back. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's just really cool because we have a lot of, as a military report, you're giving speeds, you're giving directions, you're giving times and distances. So it's really cool to see, like, yeah, there was probably at one point a flying saucer, whether it be some type of reconstituted or secret aircraft made by the Soviet Union, reverse engineered, or an actual UFO. We don't know. But yeah.
Well, they say a lot of the UFOs that we would see are most likely reverse engineered than actually from the source of like aliens.
Yes, that is a conventional wisdom theory that, for the most part, we just keep finding crashed ones and re-engineering them. So, but yeah. Yeah.
So
Any-
we got into the alien phase now. Now to take it back to the Kennedys.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever heard of the Kennedy curse?
Who are the Kennedys again? No. Yeah, obviously. So yes, I've heard of the Kennedy curse. You want to inform the viewers?
So the Kennedy curse is basically they say it's like the Kennedy's father made a deal in a ritual, and or what's it, Kennedy Senior made like shady pacts, and now like throughout history, their family has been paying for it because I mean, like you have JFK, RFK, JFK Jr. Like just across multiple generations, just dying from like crazy events.
Joseph Kennedy Sr. is the one.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like just these series of bizarre, tragic events that have just happened to that family alone.
Yeah, that family is totally sketchy. So I'm not sold on the curse, right? Because when you can say whatever you want about the Kennedys, whether you love them, whether you hate them, or whatever. They are people of power and have been for the last century in America. So
And
if
they're
you
back.
are, well, if you've been in, if you're a wealthy person in a very established country, like, so you're a political player, you're a shaker, you're a mover, like, you're gonna get your family members are gonna get assassinated. Like, you're gonna get caught up in plots and ploys. Is that okay? No, that's fucked up. But like, that's why I don't necessarily believe in a curse per se. But
yeah.
what do I know? I'm just a guy on the internet with a hat.
So from the paranormal angle at it, you guys think hauntings are tied to bloodlines?
I know there's a lot of people who think that people who get like almost like people are genetically disposed to be more sensitive or attract more ghosts and stuff like that. I tend to believe it's more of a cultural thing. If you're raised in a family that's more sensitive to ghosts, you're more open to it.
Mm-hmm.
I have an old coworker that was adopted by a local family. He was told to never look into his DNA. He's totally a Kennedy, though. We're
He
all
just looks
secret
exactly
Kennedys.
like him.
Yeah. Just out there doing the full on. We choose to do these things because they are hard everywhere. But
Yeah.
give me another paranormal slant on the Kennedys.
All right. Have you guys heard of the Dealey Plaza, a ritual site?
The ritual site of Dealey. I do not.
Some
know this one,
believe
so-
the plaza's geography has Masonic or occult symbolism, like the trident shape of the roads or its location on the 33rd parallel.
Spell the plaza name.
Dealey.
Dealey.
Yeah.
Plaza in. Oh, okay. So this is the plaza. Okay. So
JFK's death wasn't just a political hit. It was a symbolic ritual done in a public to send a message or harness energy.
So what are they saying here? They're saying that this was a ritual site.
Yeah.
So what's ritualistic about it? I guess.
It was like Masonic.
What's the claim?
Masonic killing of the king, right?
Okay, but what makes this site ritualistic? Is it?
Like the trident shape of the roads or its location on the 33rd parallel.
It's a trident. I'll give them that, and it's on the 33rd parallel. I'd have to bring this to maps. I mean, I never want to assume anything. But let's see if we can find so you have this trident. Are there other just random tridents strewn about here?
There might be.
There's some interest. Well, that's like a monument, so obviously it's gonna. I don't know. It is a strangely shaped road. I will say, who knows what was here back in the day, but
Yeah.
and he was going down Main Street, right?
Yeah.
So, it didn't bring you to my. There we go. Yeah, and this is the grassy knoll.
The grassy knoll right there. It's everything ties back to Masonic ties, Sean.
You need friends to pull me out of town to investigate? Well, stay tuned. Maybe we can do something for you. Well, we'll hit you up if we have anything coming in the near future. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not a Mason. I'm not gonna pretend to know their rituals. Yeah. Sorry, I should make a random inflection. Yeah, I know we're planning some stuff in the near future. Talk with me or Jim later, and if we can make something happen, we will.
Whoa, I know I kind of joked about it earlier, but the non-human interference, aliens or reptilians? Which I guess that reptilians is an alien anyway, but
Yeah. Well,
so
some people argue that the reptilians are actually terrestrial and they live here already. But I don't subscribe to reptilians and aliens mingling at that level of our government. And who's no? Maybe I'm.
That's
the
what they
asshole.
want you to think,
Yeah.
Sean.
I'm the pleb. I'm the
You
one who's
clown.
But I don't know. I think before we have to, if we're getting into reptilians, we're gonna have to do a whole new show because it's already 8:55. Jim, can you play us off? This has been a weird episode. I hope you guys liked it. We'll probably, once we have more actual hunts back out, we'll return to our normal scheduled videos of the after show. This has been the after show, After Files, presented by Get Haunted Paranormal Podcast Program. I'm Sean. That's Jim. And you're you, and thank you for watching.
Love you guys. Bye.